it's Jennifer from Belladonna's Botanicals, and I haven't made a video in our spiritual awakening series for a little bit of time, but I wanted to talk about one of the things that for me has been really important in this whole process of really accelerated spiritual growth and awakening. And that is, I think the most critical piece for me over the past almost 2 years now is systematically removing all of the toxic elements and people from my life and associations with such. And a lot of these were not easy to do, and some of them are hella big life changes. Like, hi, I no longer live in Philadelphia. It's been almost a year since I left. I was living in a toxic environment that was killing me. And it's only, as I was really working through the sort of accelerated spiritual awakening process, starting like more so focusing in I want to say 2023, where I really just started to overcome what I will always claim to be my most toxic trait, and that is seeing the good in everyone, even the worst of people, and just giving so many chances, so much room, so much of myself. And in the end, who's the one that walks away less than? Who's the one that gets hurt? Who's the one that gets used, screwed over, abused? Lifetime achievement award for that shit. So what I want to talk to you about in this, so this is going to be very extemporaneously. I have not created an outline or anything, so this is just off the top of my head. So my biggest issue in life, and this is across the board, whether it's jobs, relationships, friendships, professional relationships, associations, living where I live and whatnot, is that I stay too long. I keep hoping. I look at everything. I hope for the best. I hope somehow, everything, the tides will turn, everything will work out, and we'll live happily ever after. Obviously not the case. Sometimes you really, in order to get over that hump, in order to accelerate change and move on, you have to excise those toxic elements from your life. And it's not easy. I spent over half my life in Philadelphia, like cumulatively close to 25 years. I spent most of my life there. And I realized that after I got, well, I mean, my marriage ended in 2017, so I don't think it was officially divorced until 2018. But um, I, even then, in 2017, I really wanted to leave. Cats. I really wanted to leave the city, but I wasn't ready to yet. I kept giving it one more chance, and then that whole thing in 2020 happened that put a you know, changed the course of things for a bit, and made some stuff. But there were things I had to do in just mundane shit I had to do, like, I had to improve my credit score, or, I had to do, pay off some debt and this, that, and the other thing. But it became clear to me that my environment was killing me. Being there was so toxic. And like I left Philadelphia September 27th to 2023. I've not been back since. I don't know that I really, outside of maybe having to fly out of Philadelphia International Airport, although Newark is looking a little more promising, but I'd have to go to New Jersey. But anyways, depends where I'm going. I don't have any desire to go back. Like, I look at, though, that one thing, changing my environment where I live, like, I can literally hear the crickets chirping. If I stop talking, I hear crickets chirping. Not subwoofer bass, not people having domestic arguments on the street, not constant flow of traffic and city buses and horns and sirens and pew pew shots and fireworks, all of that. I'm in an entirely different environment, and that has saved my life. Because also, hi, as we know, we are all DHD, on the neurospicy spectrum of autism and ADHD. Um, So I was constantly keyed up to a 10, which was not good for me. I mean, that is not like, and then anything else above that was just like throwing me over the edge. So, but it's like there was always this cycle, like, and I can see it in when I look at like my Facebook memories and stuff of like how long I hated Philadelphia, how long, how many years I wanted to leave until I finally left. I was ready in about 2021, but stuck it out to see how our relationship panned out. At least it was proof of concept for one thing, but, otherwise, I just kinda wasted yet some more time in Philly there, but once I was ready to go, leaving was easy. It was I mean, it was a pain in the ass selling a house, finding a place to live and whatnot, but, at the end of the day, I had to choose myself, and I realized that as I was growing and healing spiritually, that I was maybe it wasn't the most ideal financial situation for me, but it was the situation. This is the decision I had to make. I had to leave in order to foster my own sanity, my health, my healing, my growth, etc. So, it can be scary, and even down to people, like, I've cut so many people out of my life and, associations, professional, personal, a lot of things. I'm like, I've learned now that once, because again, along with my toxic traits, because sometimes we have to also realize the toxicity within us and the maladaptive coping strategies that we have to deal with these things. I was becoming like living in Philly, I was becoming a very unpleasant person, like borderline hateful person. Like I just could not stand being around all those people. I couldn't stand where I lived. I just hated being there. I hated going out. I was becoming a shut-in. I'd be like, all right, this is our day of the week. We leave the house, we get everything done. If we don't get it done, well, fuck it, we'll just have it delivered or it goes to next week. So it was a very unhealthy situation for me. Now, when it comes to people, I am notorious. Let's add to Jen's most toxic trait list is look at all them red flags flying at me. Bzoop, bzoop. I'm just gonna start spray painting them green and all the other colors because clearly they're not red flags. And for me now, when I identify a red flag, I'm like, all right, we're not going to spray paint this green and pretend everything's going to be honky dory and okay. We've learned that it probably won't be, that it's a red flag for a reason. Now we all give off red flags from time to time, people are people as it were, but when there's things that really kind of hit you in a like, I'm not always great at listening to my intuition. I'm getting better. I could add that to my own toxic traits. So it's again, it's some of this is looking at how you perceive things, whether it is your own toxic views sometimes clouding your the people you associate with. I think I talk about this in a couple recent videos. I think the Dunning-Kruger effect one and the Spirits Gone Wild video with some of the gnosis that I've gotten recently and stuff. And like I look back and I'm like, I never would have associated with some of these people. What the hell was I thinking? And or like making excuses and all of that. And I'm like, why? Why was and looking at okay, let's look at the whys and wherefores of this. Um some of it for me again was I because in addition to my neurospiciness, I also have complex PTSD. So I do have some people pleaser elements to me that I don't want to, rock the boat. I want everyone to like me. I don't want to think because then that also hits that weird rejection sensitivity dysphoria. That's part of ADHD, which is one of the least fun attributes. I'm like, this is just stupid. Like I know when I'm going into rejection sensitivity dysphoria mode, it'll just be like the sudden onset of, oh my god, I apparently just did something completely heinous, and now every single person ever completely hates me. I know when I'm doing it, I'm like, stop being a weenie, and I just kind of let it run its course. But I'm a more self-aware of it now. But like, there's things that I just don't do like stuff that can really kind of spiral me and put me into a bad day, or if it triggers something like I have tolerated and put up with bad and abusive behavior from a lot of people over the course of my life. I'm now limiting that. If you're gonna get shouty with me, like I can have an argument and I'm loud. So, I get it. I'm loud and whatnot. But like if you're gonna speak down to me and like speak to me in an abusive way, that door is getting closed and I'm not reopening it. You can apologize, but I'm not here to referee, people fighting in, social media stuff or in comments or whatnot. I got shit to do. And when I realize when there's times when things are bothering me, like, "Ugh, this person's bothering me, or this thing's bothering me, or this situation, or this group, or this thing," and I've learned I've learned to not be like, "Well, I'm leaving this server or this group or blah, blah, blah." I'm just gonna quietly leave most of the time. Like, I just I don't really care at this point. It's again, when I see things becoming really toxic, whether it's groups, whether it's certain people, certain ideologies, I'm probably just gonna walk away. I may or may not. Like, you know what? Here's the thing. I've earned the right to leave. I have earned the right to uphold my boundaries, and that is a key here. I am good at being like, this is my boundary, and then letting people completely steamroll right over them. Hi, another one of my own personal toxic traits. When I put up a boundary and it gets violated, you might get a warning shot, and then if you keep repeating it, oh boy, howdy, are you going to wake the sleeping dragon? And she is not going to be happy about it. So it's I think the overall message of this is removing toxic elements from your life and finding joy. I'm managing to kind of do both, and sometimes that's a challenge, especially just as around the world we live in. Not easy. Um, I've um because hi, I am setting a boundary. My self-worth, I have to manage a lot of things with my autoimmune illness, psoriatic arthritis. I have a lot of chronic pain and mobility issues. I have my whole crazy brain stuff going on and PTSD and all that. And, actually, honestly, one of my reasons I think, for leaving Philadelphia when I did, I was like, I am not spending another election year in this fucking city. Because boy, howdy, the shit go crazy on days ending in Y. I'm just glad I don't have to worry about being tear gassed in my house anymore. Um, but anyways, sure would have to go really sideways here for that to happen, and I don't think it will. Um, so I am standing my ground. I'm upholding my boundaries. And as someone who has disabilities, who is neurodivergent, who has complex PTSD and history of depression and anxiety, this is non-negotiable. If you push past my boundaries, I will give you if I give you a little like, hey, not cool. Hey, you remember how I asked you to do this thing for me? Because otherwise it causes a lot of anxiety or something like that, or it's a trauma trigger, and you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. I I'm choosing myself because and I've said this for years now, like, especially when all the stuff with, like, becoming a living God was going down and all that and all the drama and stuff. I'm like, "You know whose side I choose? Mine. I am on my side. I choose myself." And that is a boundary. That is a lot of growth and healing on my part. And the thing that's great, when you start to remove all that toxic bullshit from your life, the people, the places, all that stuff, life does get better. Like being able to find joy, peace in solitude. That's the problem I had in Philadelphia. I could never have a moment's peace. I could never just sit down and be like, "Ah, I'm just gonna take a nap. It's raining. I'm gonna take an afternoon nap and just listen to the gentle rain," because there was always so much noise and all the cars and all the other sensory stuff behind there, or asshole neighbors and whatnot. I don't have to deal with that now. I have a sense of peace and solitude. I can go and sit down in my living room and read a freaking book if right now if I want to at 5:11 p.m. on, I'm gonna say it's a Monday. Don't quote me though. So with shedding those toxic things, and if you want to do some deep shadow work, make a list of all those toxic things, those toxic people, those toxic jobs, workplaces, bosses. Like I've had some hella toxic jobs. Like the one of the jobs I stayed in longest, almost 10 years. Like I have significant PTSD from that job. Like, oh my God, some of those people were just horribly abusive. And it was just bullshit office work. Um, Nonprofit office work. But anyways, um, but yeah, like I didn't realize once I got out of there and was working in a healthy work environment how toxic that place was. And again, no regrets. Why did I stay there for almost a decade? Because I didn't think I could do any better. Because sometimes we get those negative self-talk, especially if we have, mental health issues, or we've had gone through abusive relationships, or just whatever kind of chaos in our lives, is that I didn't think I deserved better. So I just settled for what was there, what was available, because I didn't deserve joy. I didn't deserve happiness. And taking the like attracts like, my toxicity was probably attracting other toxic people into the mix as well. And it's created a lot of chaos in my ears, but this is the thing with spiritual growth and healing, is like being able to see this stuff now and recognize it and be like, yeah, I'm like, I will always give people room. Even if I walk away, I'm like, hey, you know what? If you have your, you figure your shit out, you heal, you make amends, whatnot, great. But until then, I have to hold my boundaries firm. And if those boundaries are not held firm, I'm gonna get hella warlike hella fast, because that to me, again, is something that's really triggering, is not being taken seriously, not being taken, not having, how do I want to put this? I'm trying to use examples without calling out specific people in my life, but it's kind of like things that are dismissive to me. Because I've had to deal with a lot of medical gaslighting as well too, because it took me almost 10 years to figure out what the fuck was wrong with me. And that came from me being like, here's a list of like 40 things that I'm experiencing. What's going on? And doctors being like, okay, well, we ruled this out. Well, I guess it's just in my head. All right. And then other people tell me, oh, well, you're just lazy, or, you sleep too much. I'm like, I can lay in bed for 12 hours and still only get 4 hours of sleep. That being, when there's something wrong to you and you're gaslit and people look down on you, and people kind of, don't understand why, like, hey, I'm sorry, my body just today, so I can't go on a 5-mile hike because I'll freaking die unless you want to carry me halfway there, halfway back. It's, I've dealt with a lot of that. So I don't particularly like when people are dismissive of things, especially like I've had a hella hard time with dealing with a lot of ableism from people that should fucking know better. Um, Especially when they're always, trying to spread awareness for this, that, or the other thing, and then manage to do so in the most ableist ways possible. For when I say ableist, and that's it's neurodivergent ableist. It's kind of like there's this expectation that we can just, okay, well, I'm just going to mimic what you're doing and then do that so I fit in and whatnot when our brains are screaming. I would, to have a good explanation of what that's like. There's an episode of The Big Bang Theory, the Itchy Brain Simulation, season 7, episode 8, where Sheldon, yeah, so that Leonard understands what Sheldon is going through with, the things that make him crazy like that. Leonard has to go through this whole series where he's wearing the sweater that is just like tearing his skin apart, it's itching, and he's miserable and he's whatnot. And he can't solve this problem of, I think, returning a late DVD and the store is closed and whatnot, and not getting the closure, and how it affects his mood. Like, you can see over the time of him wearing the sweater how tortured he becomes. And it was such a brilliant way to illustrate what's like a lot of neurodivergent brains go through, and that, we can't just do things like, sometimes I can't just let it go. Like, the other it was a couple weeks ago, I was going through something, and like, I just get stuck in feedback loops sometimes. And if you are there, thank you for being a friend and just listening to me go, do, 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 do. Oh, I'm okay, I'm okay, no, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, oh, I'm okay, okay. But this really pisses me off, this really, I just, until I can break through and get out of that, that's just kind of how I process. Now, if you're going to make me feel like a piece of shit because I have to spiral through something in a feedback loop for a day or two till I can come out the other side and feel okay, you know, again, I've become more self-aware of the things that are how much masking I had to do with being like, "Oh, crap, I hope no one finds out I'm some alien weirdo that doesn't get how to human very well." 'Cause I've been doing that for decades, and, it's I'm getting off on a tangent here, but anyways, but you see what I'm saying here is we're looking at identifying the toxic elements in your life. Like, sit and look down, write them down, whether it's toxic family members, friends, the spouse of a friend, whether it's a colleague, whether it's, an organization, whether anything in there where you live, all of that. Look at that and make a plan. Start looking at what you can change from that, how you can move on and break free of those toxic elements of your life, because I am telling you, once you do and get out the other side and heal and find joy and find peace and solitude, it is worth it. And, it's I'm sorry, I have to come first. There's no one else here to take care of me. My cats are great at being cats, but I have to come first. I have to take care of myself because I don't know what is gonna send me into a month-long pain flare-up. I don't know what is going to, what little things are gonna, cause a cascading effect. I have to take care of myself first and foremost. And if I have to cut toxic people and toxic things out of my life as part of my radical self-care and self-acceptance, I am going to do so with zero regrets. Um, and I would just say, do better. It's this is a process. The spiritual awakening, I think for me, and when I look at the most pivotal points in this, ridding myself and continuing to rid myself. This is not like go out and get rid of all the toxic stuff tomorrow. This has taken me almost 2 years at this point. So once you start working through all those toxic things and eliminating them from your life, I mean, this could just be little stuff like, I'm no longer going to McDonald's, or I'm no longer supporting, XYZ bullshit company. Like, one of the things up here now where I live is like, I was always reliant in Philadelphia on ordering everything online. So I ordered a lot on Amazon. Amazon is on my last nerve because, I mean, it's just like Temu Light at this point. Like, I've had to return more stuff to Amazon in the past year for being crap, broken, or whatever, Then I have my Amazon account dates back to 2001. So in the previous 23 years, I've returned more in the past year than all those years combined. I order a lot of stuff on Amazon, personally and professionally. So um, that tells you something. So I've been looking at ways to support local businesses. So like a lot of stuff I was getting on Amazon, I now go, I might pay a little more for it, but I'm also supporting local business rather than making Jeff Bezos more billionaire and supporting the cheap crap, economy stuff. So I go down to Candles and Supply in Quakertown. And every time I go there, I'm like, I'm at least spending $400 to $600 there every time I go there. And I probably go every week and a half, because I have to buy a lot of supplies. And started looking at other places up here too. I go to like the restaurant store and Restaurant Depot for some things, because there is some overlap in, like, I could get my culinary spices in bulk there, for cheap, or I could get my salts or some of the oils and stuff. So um, yeah, so I've been looking at shifting and pivoting things around that way, because that makes me feel better about myself. I'm like, I'm supporting at least local, people locally. I mean, I think the restaurant store and Restaurant Depot might be national chains, or they might have multiple locations, but I'm supporting the local economy here, especially with the Candles and Supplies, just a local business. So there's also Candlewick down in Doylestown, but I'm trying to find things like that where I can support something rather than, I will never buy anything on Temu. I don't care. Just ethically, I won't. And like, it irritates me when people are like, oh, you can find that cheaper on Temu. I'm like, that reminds me back in the day, it was the, oh, you can find it cheaper on Amazon. It's not the case anymore. You can find crappier on Amazon, that's for sure. I just don't want to buy cheap crap like that. I don't want to support that. As much as I can. Of course, I buy things on Amazon. Like, I'm not too concerned about shipping boxes as long as they don't come from Uline. Uline, they are they're terrible company. If you're using Uline, find someone else. They're terrible. For so very many reasons. But like, I mean, for getting shipping supplies like this, I don't care if this comes from Amazon, it's just gonna get thrown out. So disposable stuff like that, I don't really care about. So it's even just those little things you can do to remove those toxic elements, like, hey, I'm no longer going to McDonald's once a week or whatever, or just doing that and replacing those things with finding the joy and the peace and solitude. That is everything. I think that was one of the most important crucial points in that spiritual awakening healing process, was removing the toxic elements. And then everything kind of opens up from there. I would say that was just as important as if you go back and watch the video on the abyssal triad of the dark night of the soul, ego death, and crossing the abyss. Those, I think, for me, were like some of the most important pivotal moments and milestones in my spiritual awakening process. Am I fully spiritual awakened? No, I never will be. Neither will you. Um, it's something we work towards throughout our entire lives. And every time I think I kind of have leveled off something else, I'm like, oh, I get it now. There's always another big revelation or thing that I'm working on, healing, some kind of awakening process. So I've been going for about half an hour now on this, so I just kind of wanted to wrap up here because I have a tendency to ramble, as we know. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Be sure to follow us on social media. Sign up for our e-newsletter. We're now on Threads, so you can follow us there. Because, anyways, yeah. So I forgot what I was saying, but anyways, thank you for watching. Love you all, and until next time.